state your first and last name and spell your first and last name for the court recorder?
Danielle Diaz, D-A-N-I-E-L-L-E, Diaz, D-I-A-Z.
Thank you. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is John Petrofessa. I don't think we've met before other than briefly in the hallway today. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you're here because you were required to by subpoena by the sheriff's office and the prosecutor's office. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Can you tell us, do you know Carlos Hernandez?
Yes.
And can you tell us how you know him?
He is my son-in-law,
Okay. Who is he married to?
my daughter.
And do you know Joshua Zazo?
I don't know him by that name.
What name do you know him by?
Yogi.
Okay. And how do you know Yogi?
I've only met him like a couple of times.
Okay.
I don't know him.
How long have you known Carlos Hernandez?
About 3 years now, 3.5.
I'm having a hard time.
3 or 3.5.
Okay. Today, before you came to testify, out in the hallway, you were shown a video of a ring camera, which is People's Exhibit number 1. Is that correct?
Yes.
And do you recognize Mr. Hernandez in that video?
Well, he has a mask on, so
Do you recognize that person as Carlos Hernandez?
yes.
And did you identify the second person as Joshua Zazo, or Yogi, as you know him?
Well, I'm going to object to the form of the question. If she can make the identification here, but I don't want to, I think what she did before is irrelevant.
I'm sorry, Counsel, what is your objection?
My objection is that this is not relevant for her making an objection or making an identification because she said she made one before. I mean, if she's going to say, now I can identify this person from the ring video, that's a different story.
I'm going to overrule your objection. I find it relevant. Thank you.
And did you recognize the second person in those videos as either Yogi or Zazo?
I didn't. He was in the back. I don't.
Did you not identify him to my investigator 20 minutes ago as defendant Zazo?
Your investigator didn't ask me if I identified Carlos or him. They didn't ask me any questions. They had me watch a video.
Okay. Did you recognize Yogi? I'll ask you one last time. Yogi in that video.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know.
Do you yes or it's yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you known defendant Hernandez?
I just said like 3.5 years.
Okay. How long has he been married to your daughter?
They got married October 10th,
Do they have any children together?
18. I have. They have it would be his stepson.
Okay. And can you tell us when where do they typically reside when they're not in the state of Michigan?
Katy, Texas.
Can you tell us when they came up from Katy, Texas, back to Michigan?
It was around, I want to say August 10th, maybe around there.
And what type of vehicle were they driving when they came up from Katy, Texas?
A Jeep.
Did they stay at your residence?
Yes.
Okay. And once they got up here, at some time, did you notice a DTE white truck parked out front of your house?
No.
Did you ever see defendant Hernandez with any DTE edition of identification or type of plaques or ID?
No.
How was it that, do you recall when when defendant Hernandez and your daughter left town?
How was it?
Do you recall
Oh.
the defendant Hernandez and your daughter when they left town to go back to Texas?
Yes.
Okay. And what time of day or night was it that they left?
I don't exactly know what time. I know it was night. I was sleeping. I'm in bed by 8:30, 8:45 every night.
Okay. Do you recall the day they left town?
It was, I don't exactly know the exact date. I think it was on a Friday. Well, actually, yeah, it was on a Friday.
Have you stayed in touch with defendant Hernandez either by email or phone since he's been in custody?
We have video chatted.
How many times would you say you video chatted with him?
It's not so much video chatting with him, it's just saying hi to him on the video camera.
Okay. Did he have a birthday recently?
Yes,
Did you post on your Facebook wishing him a happy birthday on your Facebook?
yes,
You posted that you loved him?
I do.
I don't have any other questions, Judge.
Thank you.
I don't have any questions. Ask him.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's Ms. Diaz, is that correct?
Correct.
My name is Michael McCarthy. I represent a person by the name of Joshua Zazo. You referred to a person that you know whose name is Yogi. I'm going to ask you some questions regarding your identification of him, and if I don't make myself clear here this morning, please tell me that, okay? And then I'll rephrase the questions. Is that a yes?
Yes,
You've got to say yes or no because we're making a record here. So a moment ago, when the direct examination began, you were asked about whether you knew Mr. Zazo, and you stated that you had seen him 2 times. Is that correct?
correct.
And then you said, I don't know him. Do you remember saying that?
Right, because I don't know him.
Okay.
He's been to my house.
He's been to your house, and that was twice he'd been to your house?
Yes,
No, you-
it could have been more, but all I know is twice.
Okay, and that's 2 times that you were home, is that right?
Yes,
Okay. Did you spend much time with him?
no,
Did you take note of how tall he is?
no,
Did you take note of how much he weighs?
no,
Did you take note of the length of his hair?
no,
Did you take note of the color of his eyes?
no,
So you said that you, during direct examination, that you were shown a video by officers, deputies, detectives from the sheriff's department, correct?
yes,
That happened today, correct?
yes,
And you were subpoenaed to be here today, correct?
Yes.
And you came, correct?
yes,
But you don't want to be here, right?
no,
You know, you were asked to identify a person from a Ring video, is that correct?
yes.
You looked at 5 different clips from a Ring video?
Yeah, they didn't ask me to identify anybody.
I understand,
Okay.
listen to the question. You were shown 5 different clips from a Ring video, is that right?
Yes,
And you, as you've just said, nobody asked you to make an identification, correct?
correct,
Okay, so you just watched those videos
correct.
and took note of who you saw, is that right?
Just took note of whatever the video was.
Right, I mean, in your own mind, you didn't write anything down, that isn't what I mean to
No.
imply. And you weren't asked any questions by the investigator who talked to you, or who showed you the videos, correct?
No.
So it was just silent. The videos were shown, you sat there and watched them, and is that a yes?
Yes,
And nobody that was present with you asked you any questions, correct?
no,
How long before you came into the courtroom to testify were you shown the video?
when the day, like when did I first see the video?
Yes, when did you first see it?
When the detectives were at my house and came to my house.
And the detectives showed videos to you at that time?
They showed me a video.
A video, a ring doorbell type video?
Yes,
From a front door? And did either of the detectives that were there that day ask you questions regarding that?
they had me in my house for 7 hours.
That isn't my question. Did they ask you questions
They-
regarding the video? Yes or no?
Yes,
Okay. Did you make identifications to the detectives at that time?
yes.
Did you identify Mr. Hernandez?
I said it looked like Carlos.
What about your identification of the second person shown in the video?
They didn't ask me.
You were not asked any questions regarding that individual, is that
No.
correct?
No.
Okay. So then today you were shown the video again? Is that a
Yes.
yes? And that was where there were no questions being asked of you. It was just a silent showing of the video, is that right?
Yes,
And that refreshed your memory of what you saw during October when the detectives came to your house and spent 7 hours with you, is that right?
yes,
Okay. Are you able to identify the second man to be this individual, the second man shown in that video, to be the individual that you know as Yogi?
yes.
Okay. Thank you. Nothing further.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Just briefly, Mr. McCarthy touched on it. I just want to, I didn't go back in time too much, but your first contact with the Oakland County Sheriff's Department detectives was on October 12th. Is that correct? When they came to your residence?
If that was the day, yes. Yeah, I believe it's that day, yes.
And I think at some point in time when they're talking to you and they're asking about what had been seen, you break down and you're crying at some point.
I was.
Okay. And prior to that point, this case had made the news, and in fact, your friends had texted you about Carlos being on the video, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, were you present when your daughter got married to defendant Hernandez?
Yes,
Okay. Do you also recall one of the times that Zazo was present, was at that wedding? Do you recall him being there?
he was not at the wedding.
I don't have any other questions, Judge.
Thank you.
Oh, may I follow up on that last question?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you know who the groomsmen in your daughter's wedding were?
One of Carlos's brothers, another guy, Carlos, my 2 nephews.
So there were 4 people that were groomsmen then?
No, there was another one.
Well, let me ask it this way.
Okay.
Was the man you know as Yogi a groomsman in your daughter's wedding?
No,
Was he present there that day?
I did not see him.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Thank you. Nothing else for this witness? Thank you. You can be excused.
Thank you.